Jan friends, I'm Biju Gauravari and you're watching the Chanakya Dialogues English. For 5 months in a row, industrial production is dropping. Industrial output has slowed down 5 months, month upon month upon month upon month. So, Karnataka is a matter of choice, but Iran is not a matter of choice. Because Iran does not care what you say. Iran does not care about your human rights. Iran does not care about your civil rights. Jan friends, I'm Biju Gauravari and you're watching the Chanakya Dialogues English. Like this video, subscribe to our channel and don't forget to press the bell icon. Now, a little bit of news from China which I'd like to analyze, and I hope you're hearing this very carefully. The Chinese economy is showing initial signs of not just slowing down, but actually hemorrhaging. And I'm using this word with a great deal of caution. Let me tell you. What is happening in China is, for 5 months in a row, the Chinese economy, that was a role model for the rest of the world. The Chinese economy, that was, and China, that was the factory of the world. It still is in many ways. Most of the stuff that the world uses today, whether it's electronics or whether it's textile or sporting goods or whatever, comes out of China, most of it. For the 5th month in a row, the industrial production of China is dropping. Can you imagine a country like China? For 5 months in a row, industrial production is dropping. Industrial output has slowed down 5 months, month upon month upon month upon month upon month. This is what China is facing. And why is this happening? Let's analyze this issue. You see, there is a problem about COVID. China is still not over it. But there is also a problem regarding lack of domestic consumption in China. You know, domestic consumption has to keep pace. It's all a demand and supply game, where the production is so much, but the domestic consumption, if it's down, then things start to crash. And we also covered this fact that the Chinese economy is seeing deflation for the first time in 40 years. This is something that is hitting China extremely hard. Their real estate firms have collapsed. Biggest of the biggest real estate firms in China that had annual revenues of billions upon billions of dollars, they have collapsed. Chinese banks have collapsed. But what is actually hitting China? There are 3 factors that are directly hitting China. Number 1, China's aggressive moves against the West. China has moved very aggressively against the West, and all the national security papers which various EU governments, the British government or the US government or the Canadian government has published, all those papers that have come out in the open domain clearly state that China is enemy number 1. China is threat number 1. They haven't used the word enemy, but they're saying threat number 1. That is what China has done wrong. China has bitten the hand that has fed it. How is it? Because as I repeat time and again in most of my videos, China's economy is largely based on contract manufacturing. All these foreign firms, they want to manufacture in China because it's cheaper. So that's part 1 of the story. Part 2 of the story is, now these firms, because of China, have started pulling out. So you have a Tesla saying that it wants to start a factory in India ASAP. What does that mean? Where is this? Are people suddenly buying more Tesla cars? So here is a table. An assumption table, hypothetical table. If 1,000 Tesla cars are being sold every year, which is not true, there are many more being sold. I'm just giving you an academic hypothetical example. Let us say 1,000 Tesla cars are being manufactured in China and sold across the world. For example, now, if China moves the manufacturing of 300 cars to India, it does not mean that the world has started buying 1,300 Tesla cars. Basically, what is happening is that now only 700 cars will be manufactured in China, because a part of that manufacturing has moved to India. Ditto for Apple. Exactly the same thing has happened for Apple. That is the second part. Third part, a lot of companies' economies are not doing as well as they should. And this is true for China's customers also. Germany, that has so many brands that are being manufactured in China. Mercedes is German, Audi is German, Volkswagen is German, Hugo Boss is German, Adidas is German, And there are so many brands that are German, and they're all being manufactured in China. All of them, without exception. Massive manufacturing units in China. But Germany is undergoing a recession right now as we speak. Germany is under recession. And a Bloomberg report says that 75% chances are there that in 2023-24, the UK will also suffer recession. America is on the verge of recession as we speak. So all these people who are sending their goods to be manufactured in China, China is taking raw material from them, or even not, but China was manufacturing for them. China's customers are having a bad time. So I've often brought this factor out. The West is hypocritical. It speaks about democracy. It speaks about democratic values, but it does business with China, which is an autocratic state. And Xi Jinping is a madman. He's an absolute madman. So the West says, anything small happens in India, anything at all, happens in India, the West will say, oh, the Indian democracy is in danger. A small incident. Not realizing that in a country of 1.4 billion people, and I'm not saying that what is happening in India is okay. I'm not making that point. All I'm saying is that 1.4 billion people, there are bound to be conflicts. But there are no mass human rights violations in India. There are individual criminal acts which happen from time to time. We not only condemn them, we put those people in jail. And the state is not involved. In China, the opposite is true. The individuals are not involved, but the state of China is involved in putting 1.5 million Uyghurs in jail. And yet the West does business with China. And the West forgets liberal democracy. The West forgets elections. The West forgets human rights. It forgets everything when it comes to China, because China means money. And that is why China is important for the West, because China means money. China means profits. And this entire nonsense that is happening with China as far as the relationship of at least the United States of America and the big Western economies with China is concerned, it is all driven from Wall Street. Greedy executives of Wall Street who want nothing to do with democracy, who want nothing to do with human rights. All they want is profits, and they keep on driving this program with China, make in China, sell here, because then it becomes cheaper to make in China and sell here. They make a lot of profits, but they sell it at the same price, So it's not like, for example, let me tell you why this is malfunctioning. So let's say there is a shoe that is $500. Shoe that is $500. The retail price is $500. And in China, it is made for $50. So what companies could have done ideally is, $50 is what you give to the Chinese. You get the $50 shoe. You mark it up 100%. Sell that shoe for $100. No. They'll give $50 to the Chinese. The Chinese will make money, right? Because labor there is cheap. And they will sell it for $500, making $450 in the process. Who's losing out? The American customer. Because he's not getting jobs. A, because all his jobs have gone to China. B, China is an autocratic state. Xi Jinping is a dictator. And C, Wall Street is making money, not the average American citizen. Now America is pulling back from China, and this is hurting China, and this is why what is happening in China is happening. So ladies and gentlemen, this was as brief as I could get regarding the situation in China. It's really hurting China now. It's really hurting China, which is why China is doing all that nonsense of, taking out maps and saying that Arunachal is our territory and Ladakh is our territory, and Delhi and Tamil Nadu and Kerala and West Bengal and Rajasthan. I don't know what China will demand later. Nobody knows. They've already demanded the Vladivostok port in Russia. Tomorrow they're going to start wanting Texas and Washington, D.C. Who knows with the Chinese? But the fact of the matter is, China is bleeding very heavily. Now from China, we go a little west, southwest actually, to Iran. Mahsa Amini, you remember that Iranian girl who was killed in custody for not wearing the hijab? I'm sure you remember. And violent protests broke out all over Iran. Dozens of people were killed, many disappeared, many were maimed for life. And there was an absolute crackdown by Iranian authorities. And they said that this is something that is fueled by the West, etc., etc. So what has happened now is that Amini's lawyer, Amini is dead of course, but her lawyer spoke to a foreign media outlet. And all hell broke loose in Iran. Now, this man is being held and he's being charged with a whole lot of crimes. Insulting Iran, insulting the revolution, insulting this, insulting that. They'll probably call him a spy also. In Iran, anything is possible. Now, what has happened here is simple. First of all, why is this guy in Iran? I don't know, because he was representing that woman and he should have fled the country after doing so. But he remains in Iran and now he's in a hot soup. And this guy is going to get a hammering very shortly. You see, my complaint is not with the people of Iran or the government of Iran. At least the government of Iran, I may disagree with them, but at least they are honest people. At least they are not hypocrites. Look at our people. Political parties, they are hypocrites. A similar thing happened in Karnataka, in India. They said, oh, the girl is not allowed to wear a hijab and all that. It's so wrong, it's so wrong. She should be allowed to wear a hijab. But they say nothing about Iran, you know. And when asked why should she be allowed to wear a hijab in Karnataka, it's a matter of choice. It's a matter of choice. So, Karnataka is a matter of choice, but Iran is not a matter of choice. Because Iran does not care what you say. Iran does not care about your human rights. Iran does not care about your civil rights. The Maulvis will just say, kill that person will be killed. That is Iran for you. So in Karnataka, if a Muslim girl is told that please don't wear a hijab in school because it violates the school uniform, what suddenly happens is that people say, no, you're violating her human rights. It's her choice. Nobody is saying it's mandatory in Islam to wear hijab. Nobody is saying that. They're saying no. It's her wish what she wants to wear. How can it be her wish? Tomorrow, if I want to wear a cap to school, if I'm a school student, will I be allowed? If I want to go barefoot to school, will I be allowed? Tomorrow I'll say, no, it's my choice. So my question to them always is it obligatory in Islam for a woman to wear a hijab? Islam calls for modesty in wearing clothes. I don't think the Quran even mentions that you must wear a hijab. This has all been made up by Maulvis, who are the root cause of corruption in how Muslims follow Islam. You know, the Maulvis who are corrupt, who are doing all of this. So there are two faces to these guys, you know. They say something here and they say something there. They're quiet about Iran. They don't want to offend religious sensibilities. But here it's okay. So ladies and gentlemen, from Iran we go to Pakistan, a short hop, a short flight. They're neighbors. And now we are landing in Islamabad. And let me take you directly to the office of the President of Pakistan, Dr. Arif Alvi. Now here is the news item that I would like to discuss with you. It's fascinating. Arif Alvi, the President of Pakistan, wants a pay hike. All right. And this guy wants a pay hike so desperately that he says, no, I want more money. So he says currently he's getting, you know, the current salary of the Pakistani president is 8,46,550 rupees. That is what he's getting right now. Now he says, this is not enough. I need more money. And what money does he require? And what money is he asking for? He is saying that, you know, currently my salary, this is what Arif Alvi is saying, currently my salary is 8,46,550 rupees. Now I want a two-step raise. He does not want one raise, he wants two raises. He wants a two-step raise from effective July 2021. So this is more than 2 years back, I beg your pardon. More than 2 years back, he wants his salary raised from 8,46,550 to 10,24,325. And then from July 2023, he wants a salary raised to 12,29,190, which means a 50% salary raise, retrospective effect, starting 2 years back. This is the President of Pakistan for you. What can I say? I have nothing to analyze. I mean, here is a country where people are dying because of electricity charges. Yeah. They're dying because of high taxes. People are not able to take their old parents to hospital. They're not able to pay the fees of their kids in school. They're not able to provide for their families. They're not able to eat properly. And here is a president, greedy. And if he was just greedy, I would have understood. He's corrupt, he's greedy, he's incompetent, he's inefficient. He's the ideal candidate to be the President of Pakistan. But come on, have a heart, Mr. Alvi. Have a heart. Why would you do this? You want more and more money from a state that can hardly afford your current salary. And you want more money. Shame on you, Dr. Alvi. Absolutely shame on you. And ladies and gentlemen, before I go, I'd like to tell you that tomorrow don't miss the Chanakya Dialogues Hindi. Because I'm going to say something extremely important in the Chanakya Dialogues Hindi. And, this is something that is going to be eye-opening and it's of national interest. I'd like you to watch the Chanakya Dialogues Hindi tomorrow. So ladies and gentlemen, with this I come to the end of my video today. If you like this video, press like. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram, Bharat Mata Ki Jai.